Today, there are nearly 600,000 job openings in Canada. Last year, we hit a record high of active job postings, breaking 1 million jobs available.
The government keeps saying the economy is doing great, but then you see cries for help like this or this.
Many feel it's impossible to find a job these days. So in this video, we'll share a few reasons why finding a job is so hard right now. And on top of that, we'll share our personal strategy that has helped over 100 candidates land a job.
Let's go.
First, let's clarify a few things. These are the job vacancies numbers for the last 6 months. And this is the unemployment numbers for the same period. How can these two numbers coexist?
Well, let's define unemployed according to Stats Canada.
Unemployed. These are persons who during reference week were without work, were available for work, and were either on temporary layoffs, had looked for work in the past 4 weeks, or had a job to start within the next 4 weeks. Full-time students currently attending school and looking for full-time work are not considered to be available for work during the reference week.
In other words, you must be currently available to work and have looked for a job in the last 4 weeks.
So, if you spend months doing job hunting without success, and then you take a few weeks off, you won't be counted towards the unemployment rate anymore.
Looking deeper into the unemployment statistics, we can see the reason for leaving jobs. You'll notice that the number of people voluntarily leaving jobs is higher than those who got laid off, while the number of people who have not worked for at least a year is even higher.
That means that the vast majority, over 60%, are folks who have been unemployed for over a year. This is a massive number. How do those people survive? They are either rich enough not to need employment, or something's off.
A 2023 survey found that many employers are posting job opportunities without any intention to hire or respond to applicants. Companies call this ghost job posting. It's a strategy some companies use to collect data about the candidates. Many large companies have job postings for positions they know they will always need. For example, for retail, that would be retail associated. For a large tech company, it would be developers. And for a finance company, this would be financial analysts. Companies have statistics on their average turnover rate and like to be forward-looking when it comes to hiring, so they put the postings up even if they don't have a position open in the moment.
So they do it to build a pipeline of potential candidates to tap into when the need arises. That in part explains why you might not be hearing back from companies. Another reason for ghost job postings is worse. Companies gather free insider information about the industry and competition. From experience to desired salary, they collect data on the current state of the industry, ongoing types of projects happening, skills, and above all, compensation. This helps companies adjust their own recruitment strategies, figure out what's the lowest amount of salary that they could pay for the role, and how quickly they could fill the role if they decide to let a more expensive employee go.
Ghost job postings are increasing. A 2024 study found mentions of ghostings are up 77% since February 2020. These postings create a false sense of hope for many. We spend hours applying to the open jobs, unaware that most have no intention of hiring at the very moment.
Next, not all jobs are created equal. I see help wanted signs everywhere we go, at a sports store, at a coffee shop, and at a bar that we went to the other day. The truth is that these jobs are undesirable. These low-wage, low-skill jobs often come with a range of issues that make them less appealing to job seekers. The pay is low, schedules can be all over the place, and the work itself is demanding, mentally and physically. Not to mention that these roles often offer zero to no opportunities for advancement. This combination of factors contributes to high turnover rates and difficulty in attracting dedicated employees. So if you feel like your local store is constantly hiring, maybe it's because the local store cannot retain its workers due to low wages and a terrible working environment.
And this is where newcomers oftentimes come in to take the spots. You've probably seen headlines like this or this, stating that immigrants are taking jobs away from Canadians. The truth is, most Canadians simply don't want to do these low skills, low wage jobs, while immigrants, as terrible as it sounds, are used to horrible working conditions and low wages back from their home countries.
But we don't want to normalize that, as we firmly believe everyone should be paid according to the value that they create with their work and be able to afford living a decent life. The modern reality is that most people seek jobs that provide not only a livable wage, but also a sense of purpose, growth, and stability. These are the things that are often missing in low-skill, low-wage jobs.
Okay, all this is good, but you might say that some skilled jobs also seem to always be hiring. The reason for that are more similar to the low-skilled jobs that you might think. Employers know that the job market right now is juicy, and there are more people looking for jobs than jobs available, so the companies often lowball salary offers. One study shows that 46% of job seekers said they could only find low-paying jobs, way below their last paychecks and desired compensation.
Some may call job seekers ungrateful, saying that they should take what they can get. We're guilty of that too, since we always recommend taking on temporary new opportunities that will help you build your network and career, even if it's lower paid. I've personally done some work for free in my career, and the connections that I've made through that helped me land 6-digit contracts.
However, in an economy where the cost of food, rent, and necessities are so high and show no signs of slowing inflation, taking a low-paying job is simply not an option.
In economics, this is explained by opportunity cost. The time spent doing one thing is time spent not doing something else. Spending 50 hours a week washing dishes, stocking shelves, or serving food, and all of that barely covers your basic expenses. Well, no thanks, nobody would go for that. I'd rather spend those 50 hours continuing to look for a job that matches my skill and salary expectations, increasing the chances of finding a better fit. And that's how the vicious cycle begins. You stop considering half of the jobs simply because they're not worth it.
Some may also say it's immigration to blame for an oversupply of workers and higher competition. Well, maybe, but it's not the only factor at play. The economy and the labor market have gotten pretty messed up since the pandemic. We've had the roller coaster of mass layoffs in 2020, where nearly 3 million Canadians lost their job. Then the Great Resignation of 2021 to 23, when the cushy skilled worker employees were mass quitting in search of a more balanced life.
Yeah, I was one of those people.
And finally, the great layoffs of 2023 that disproportionately affected the technology industry, and that's where things started getting out of control.
But that's not all the problems we have. The recruiting process is also broken. Job platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, and Monster make applying fast and easy. You will fill out a template, attach your resume, and apply. LinkedIn makes it even easier with its Easy Apply feature. The application process has become so effortless that it allows you to send hundreds of applications per day. There are even some AI products helping you automatically apply for jobs on your behalf while you're sipping on your lemonade in the backyard. But if you can send hundreds of applications a day, so can everyone else. And that in turn creates a large amount of noise for recruiters, making it harder and harder for your resume to stand out.
As a result, companies too use AI tools to filter resumes. A 2023 study found that up to 75% of resumes are rejected by ATS and AI tools before they even reach a human. Studies state that both unqualified and qualified candidates get filtered out, but companies don't really care because they have more applicants than they need. Even if your application passes the filters, there are still sometimes hundreds of profiles to manually go through before you can get down to 20 to 30 candidates for the first round of interviews. What's more, some recruiters admit that companies often have pre-selected candidates before posting the job. So how does that work?
First, you hire who you know. The hiring process is so broken that it can take dozens of hours of interviews, follow-ups, and meetings just to hire one candidate. That's expensive and super boring. So recruiters prefer to narrow their list down to candidates who know someone in the company. This significantly reduces the risk of making a bad hire, and statistically, referred candidates tend to stay at companies longer. However, many employers, especially large ones, have the pressure of making the hiring process fair and transparent. They have no choice but to put on a show and interview at least 5 candidates, even if they know who they will hire from the day one. Lastly, recruiters are busy, so they simply aren't always staying on top of their game and leave job postings up, even when the role is filled. This is the first pro tip that we can share with you today. If the job has been up for more than 30 days, don't even bother applying for it. There's either already enough candidates in the interview process, or the job has already been filled, so it's best to always apply for job postings that have just gone up.
But here's the good news. There are ways to increase your chances of getting a job. First, create or update your LinkedIn profile. Make sure you have a professional photo, your real name, as well as fill out your About Me section, your experience, skills, and add a portfolio if you have one. If you don't have one, really consider creating it.
Second, build your network. Add everyone that you have even the slightest connection with. Prioritize your classmates, friends, and former colleagues.
Next, build a list of companies you're interested in. Always confirm the job is still available on the company's career page. That page is often the most up-to-date. Search for the company on LinkedIn and see if you have any connections who are connected to the company's employees. Now it's time to play detective. Try to deduct who among the employees might be the hiring manager or the director. Also, find HR recruiters working for the company.
Now, mass add these connections on LinkedIn. Always add a brief note on why you're connecting, but never say that you want the job. Once they add you, send another, longer message on LinkedIn, briefly explaining why you're messaging and introducing yourself and mentioning what you have in common. Request a 15-minute call to chat about your industry or seek career advice. People love giving advice.
And don't submit your job application until after you get a referral. In the end of the 15-minute call, ask your connection if they're up to making a referral. See, some companies offer a referral bonus, so it can be a win-win situation for both of you. If they say no, apply anyways. Some companies have application forms you need to fill in, and they have a field there asking if you know someone in the company. Ask your contact if you can mention their name in the application if they don't feel comfortable referring you directly. Alternatively, ask them if they know about this particular job posting you found in the company and if they can share an email of the person to whom you can forward your resume. This way, your resume can skip going through ATS system and can go directly to the desk of the person selecting candidates for the interview and be on top of the pile of all other resumes. Just don't forget to tailor the resume to the job opening when you send it.
If you want a deeper dive into each one of these steps and more, like how to prepare for an interview, negotiate a salary, and build a better personal pitch, you can sign up for a free job search course that we've put together. When you sign up, you will receive an email every week covering a specific aspect of your job search. You can sign up using the link below.
All these tips will significantly improve your chances of finding your next job, but it's still a numbers game in the end of the day, and it requires strategy. So make sure to take a strategic approach to your job search, network, and don't feel shy to get out of your comfort zone and talk to strangers.
Who knows, maybe the next stranger that you meet will help you get your next job.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please tap the like button below if you enjoyed this video, share in the comments your personal tips on how to find a job, and subscribe to our channel not to miss more content on how to arrive, excel, and thrive in Canada. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.